for everyone, well, thank you, everyone, indeed, and welcome to this side event, one of the last side event connected to the scientific meeting of the All Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance. So, for those of you that are not familiar with the All Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance, there have been a series of meetings over the years. And in this year, there have been actually two periods where the All Atlantic Ocean Research Forum will meet. And the first one is was in Brasilia. It was mainly an online meeting. It was held from the 31st of May to the 2nd of June, the main event. And we had a series of side events. And this one is one of these side events connected to that scientific meeting. This will be followed by a ministerial event later in July, 12th, 14th of July in Washington, DC. And it will be the occasion also to get a new political agreement between the different actors of the Atlantic Ocean. So this side event is organized within the context of the Brasilia meeting and is also contributing to the ministerial event later on. So the topic of the meeting here today is about taking decision under deep uncertainty, with a focus on the role of integrated ecosystem assessment. This topic is a very active research area with application in many sectors, from economy to finance to energy and transport sectors, and as implication also in more general context of governance of shared resources. That's the reason why we think that this is also a very relevant research question and a research topic for the All Atlantic community. The challenges and opportunity offered by this topic will be discussed today with a rich agenda of people coming from different type of sectors and background. You probably all have access to this agenda online. And we will run this side event for 2 hours or 2.5 hours. It depends really on the level of discussions and engagement that we will have later on to the roundtable that will be chaired by Isabel, which is my co-host in this side event. So we have many experts across the different sectors, and that's actually one of the main, let's say, opportunity that this research framework can offer, because there are commonalities of problems and challenges across different sectors, and sharing those experiences, we can probably benefit each other and maybe advance the way we manage in a sustainable way marine ecosystem at such large scale like the Atlantic Ocean. So you all know and are familiar with the fact that we are in an era where the ocean as a topic is present on all agendas, political agenda, societal agenda, and economic agendas. We have been asked to provide solutions to the global challenges, and these solutions require since they are global challenges, most likely will require global solutions. But we cannot pretend to obtain these solutions in one part of the world and then export them everywhere else, because that will not work. So the concept of co-design is very present in this process of identification of solutions and application of them. And the key words for the Atlantic Ocean to me are diversity and uncertainty. Diversity in all the components that can affect marine ecosystem in the Atlantic Ocean. So the societal, economical, but also finance, and of course the different ecosystems that characterize different regions. Uncertainty, because we have uncertainty on all factors, variables, and processes that are regulating these dynamics, but also the level of uncertainty is different across different regions. That's the reason why we need to identify methods to account for these uncertainties and benefit maybe of it. In the context of this uncertainty type of decision making under deep uncertainty, the four elements that we will mainly focus on are what is called the uncertainty on the state, because maybe we don't have enough data to properly describe the ecosystem state today, and to make a picture at the synoptic level or global level of the Atlantic Ocean ecosystems. Uncertainty also on the type of interactions, so how these different elements, the societal component, the economic component, and the ecological component are interacting. The type of solution, so if the solution is actually suitable, of a tool that we can identify, maybe a data processing tool or a decision support tool, if actually is suitable for the type of system and the type of problem that we're facing, and the type of outcome, because we are not guaranteed that the outcome we obtain from the application of these tools will actually give the expected benefit or the expected outcomes indeed. So we need to consider all these four elements of uncertainty, and probably there could be a few more, but we will focus mainly on these four. And we need to identify solutions that are common, or solutions that can be used across the different regions of the Atlantic Ocean. And that's the reason why we also discuss this in connection with the projects. Mission Atlantic is a European fund project that I'm coordinating, and is about the operationalization of integrated ecosystem assessment of the Atlantic Ocean. Just to give a glimpse about what the project is about, Mission Atlantic aims at taking a so-called holistic approach to integrate all the different ecosystem components in a common framework and understand where we have enough knowledge, where we need to develop more knowledge, and also identify within that socio-ecological network where are the vulnerabilities and risks associated to these processes. We do that in a systematic way, building this socio-ecological network, selecting indicators of ecosystem state, but also performing risk and vulnerability analysis to identify the ecosystem components that are most at risk for natural hazards and the consequences of human activities. And we do that for the present state, but also for future scenarios, employing, of course, a series of numerical models that are developed within the project and will be utilized in the definition of these risk and vulnerabilities. We don't do that in isolation, but one of the central elements of integrated ecosystem assessment, or IEA, is the engagement with different actors in the society, different stakeholders, from scientists and managers to the stakeholders and decision managers. So we apply this framework across different case study areas in the Atlantic Ocean. The main reason is to have contrasting settings across a large latitudinal gradient, and also to kind of gain knowledge about similarities and differences, so that maybe we can identify large-scale processes that are occurring across different case studies, or also identify what are the peculiarities and local processes that are driving specific ecosystems. The aim, or one of the outcomes of Mission Atlantic, will be to increase what we define the operational readiness level of this integrated ecosystem assessment across all the case study areas. And this operational readiness level is defined based on the number of, or the amount of data that we have suitable for IEA, the models that have been running, the presence of stakeholder forum across these different case studies, which are indeed central for the discussion of the management objectives, but also for the validation of the results that we will obtain. We have been working already for 18 months in the project, and a few months more actually. And thanks to all the case study leads and the different responsibles for risk and vulnerability analysis, we have performed what is called the scoping phase for all case studies. So we have identified the sectors, the pressures, and ecosystem components, and also the linkages between them. What we obtain is something that looks like this. So a very complicated network of interactions that are occurring between human activities, pressures, and ecosystem components, and also to the services that they are delivered. The trick now will be to actually introduce a quantitative estimates of these interactions to assess their relative importance locally and also regionally and at the basin scale. And to do that, to introduce sort of a quantitative assessment of this, we will use different type of data sources. Of course, we will really benefit from long-term time series that are not always available across all the case studies. And that's one of the elements of uncertainty in a sense. We cannot really map the ecosystem state at the same level across the different case studies. But also the processes somehow are different, although we will employ, as mentioned, a lot of numerical models that are kind of process-based numerical models. So with processes that are identified, and of course we will validate these models against observations. And some of these observations will be collected in Mission Atlantic, mainly using autonomous vehicles and relying also on technology linked to acoustic sensing. So the central element, which is also the one that is mostly connected to this side event here, is the vulnerability assessment. So vulnerability assessment has to be done in this holistic framework, so accounting for both the direct effect and also the indirect effects. And many of these processes are indeed uncertain. So they have quite large error bars in terms of both the value and the dynamics. And we think that there are frameworks that have been developed elsewhere, maybe, and also in the context actually of Mission Atlantic, and Susa will talk about that later on, that can actually account for these uncertainties and keep them as part of the solution. That's all I want to say for now. And of course, we are not doing this project Mission Atlantic in isolation. So as I mentioned before, we are doing it together with other stakeholders, but also with this Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance, which is composed by a multitude of actors and several projects. And we are trying to engage with them all to identify common solutions. So thank you for now.